Hello, D-Rock here. Welcome to the channel. Years ago, while researching possible routes to summit a remote desert mountain, I came across a few sentences that a fellow climber had put into a trip report. He had stated on his way to the base of the mountain he had come across one of the largest agave roasting pits he had ever seen. I thought that was pretty interesting, but didn't pay too much attention to the detail. I went on to climb the mountain, actually crossed over those giant agave roasting pits without even realizing it on my route to the mountain. Flash forward to a year ago when I remembered that detail in the trip report as I was researching places to explore for this channel. I got on Google Earth and scrutinized the area near that particular mountain base and found those pits. I returned and filmed the trip and have since then been quite fascinated with the agave roasting practice. In an environment where calories are already hard to come by, these agave roasts must have been quite special and a feat to witness. Some of these pits are massive with tons of material used to build. Some pits even have a platform built on the side of the circle. And some pits are near caves that no doubt were utilized as shelters. The pits aren't located in only one mountain range, they span multiple mountain ranges across the northern Mojave Desert. In one mountain range I've located over 50 pits and I'm still finding more. Getting to some of these ruins can be a challenge. Backcountry travel by foot in the Mojave, for me anyway, is limited to the cold months for obvious reasons. Most of the time I can only drive so far and then it's miles of walking, which adds even more charm when I finally get to a pit location. Between the long hiking, the remoteness, the human connection, and the dramatic scenery, discovering a massive pit deep in the desert is a fantastic adventure. So please join me as I head out to the desert to discover what once was. Buenos dias. Well, I don't think I'm going to get any of this storm today. Got a wintry mix is what the weather was saying. So instead of coming and being up at a higher elevation, I came down to the low desert. So seemed like the weather was going to be okay. It is cold, of course, but that's okay. Out here in the desert, it's the perfect time to be out here, as a matter of fact. And I can avoid the weather. So today we're at the base of a mountain range, kind of like in an area where the Great Basin Desert kind of meets the Mojave Desert, kind of in that area. But what's interesting, I've done a couple videos, or actually a few videos of this particular interest of mine, is that in these mountain ranges, and there's multiple mountain ranges, people would have these big fire roasts, and they would be roasting agave. And it was obviously a big deal because I've searched these mountain ranges, like with Google Earth, and I find these giant fire pits. And it's not something that, a person made, in a couple hours. I mean, these took serious work, and I think the reason why they're everywhere in these mountain ranges, up these big drainages, is because in order to cook off all the agave, they had to take lots of material, lots of fuel to do these cooks. And, it takes a long time for things to grow in the desert because it's the desert, there's not much water. And they would use all the fuel in the area, so they'd have to go to another drainage and build another big pit. And sometimes these pits would just be built and rebuilt, and they'd get huge. It's just really fascinating to come out here and try and find them. So I'll find them, I'll look on Google Earth and I'll find them, what I believe to be these pits, and then I get out here, and then of course I have to trek across the desert to get to these places. There's no roads to a lot of them, so you know, it gives me time to wander and explore the desert, and then it's also just absolutely fascinating to find these things that are obviously very, very important to the people that created them. Not just for sustenance, of course, but I'm sure there was a ritual that went along with it. It's just absolutely fascinating, the whole spectrum of it. So once again, I'm out here in the low desert searching for these ruins. And the ruins, people made them a long time ago. I don't know how long ago, but they're definitely a while ago. And it's just, yeah, it's just a great thing to do. So that's what I'm up to today. And hopefully we can, I've set my sight on a couple, or actually three ruins off to the east here. So this one's going to take some walking. It may be a couple miles till I get to them. And the closest, you know, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So you can see my path is just, it's just up and down. Thankfully, no real elevation gain and loss here. It's just kind of rolling hills. However, it is somewhat of a chore, but I like walking in the desert, so it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, hopefully I got them marked up on my maps and I can get into them. Otherwise, this is just going to be some interesting walking. All right, well, to make this easier on myself, like I said, I decided to straight line it, which got me walking up and down these ridges here, which is good to warm me up anyway. And I think just over this next ridge here where my finger is, it's going to drop down into a pretty big wash. That wash or drainage is going to connect to another drainage, and I think my pits are somewhere right out in this area. There should be, there might be 3 of them, I think. That's what I have marked. So I think I'm just gonna, I can walk this and then connect to this ridge and then move down. So good walking, perfect walking weather out here. You know, this place gets hot, man, let me tell you, brutally hot. So I don't come anywhere near this area in the summertime or even in early fall or late spring. It's just already triple digits. It's mean out here, which is also quite fascinating considering where all these pits are. This is some pretty hostile terrain. This is not an easy place to exist. Maybe it was, say, 10,000 years ago when there was a lot more water in the area. The climate was cooler, it was wetter, but you know, from now to 5,000 years ago, this would be difficult terrain to exist in, a very difficult environment. No doubt the people that did exist here at those times, you know, they knew their environment. There's no doubt about that. So obviously, because these things wouldn't exist. So it's interesting to think about, you know, as you drive through these vast expanses of desert now in an air-conditioned vehicle. People have been out here for thousands and thousands of years prior to all those conveniences, living their lives. It's just pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. All right, there's my big drainage right in front of me. Okay, this drainage is going to connect to obviously another drainage. I should be near my first pit in this drainage we're looking in. Should be down here somewhere. Well, I'm hoping anyway. One thing's for certain, I don't see any agave in here. Well, I thought I might have made a mistake on this first pit. I couldn't find anything in the area, and this is where I put my mark. So I had to climb up on the hill and look around. This one, boom, found it right in front of me. This isn't a big one. Once again, yeah, this is a pretty small one actually. I mean, I've seen way bigger, but you can see how the limestones turn white here. And I might add, near it is a large flat rock here. Does it have any evidence of cutting on it or grinding? Maybe not, don't know, but it's interesting that it's right here near this. So we found the first pit. Good, all right. Yeah, these are always so cool to come across. Ooh, that weather's clearing up. It's gonna warm up today, I think. Okay, so first pit, we got it. So we're gonna continue exploring out here. I've identified in this general area, which could be like a quarter or a half mile away, in either direction. There's 2 more pits. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to all of them today, but we're gonna definitely go see another one. So I think I need to connect with another drainage running that away. So that's what I'm up to. We're gonna go see and find another one. All right, I think the second pit is right on the edge of this rise here. Somewhere in this pocket is the second pit. Decided to go to this one first because this was the uphill walk. So the third pit is going to be farther down this drainage. So I'm feeling like this pit is going up against these hills here, because that's pretty much solid limestone, and the agave seems to like that. So there might be some agave up on the sides of this limestone hill here. As I get closer, I'll have to scrutinize it and see. Wow. I'm glad I looked up when I did. That's the pit right there. Unmistakable. That is big. That's a big pit right there. Wow. Wow, that one makes the first one look very small. Whoa. So I'm feeling like this one was utilized more. It is. Gosh, man, it's incredible. Right on the edge of this wash here. I mean, this is perched right on the edge. This is absolutely incredible. Look at this thing. Oh man, it is huge. This was made by human hands. This looks like something that would be made with machinery. It is, look at this thing. We stand next to this wall of rock here that was built up by hands. This is what I'm talking about. This is a huge one. Whoa. Oh man. That's one of the, wow. This is incredible. The size of this western facing wall here is just incredible. It's astounding. Let me put a camera down just to give you an idea of how big this wall of rock is that was piled up. So I'm 5'10", and where I'm standing right now, this is, what's that? Almost chest level of rock piled up. You know how long this would take? So this is, obviously the other side of the pit here is going to be a lot smaller, but this side, to make it level, is just, man, that's almost 5 feet. So I did a kind of a rough measurement. The inside circle of this pit is roughly 15 feet across. The outside is just over 20 feet. That's a huge amount of material piled up. And like, if you can see where I'm standing here, there's a limestone ledge, and this pit was built to be completely level. The edge of this limestone ledge, that wall matching up. This is absolutely incredible. Incredible feat. This is all done by hand. So you see how big this pit is. I've been just searching the hillside here, and there is no agave anywhere near this pit. Not to mention, think of the fuel you would have needed to cook this giant pit off. I mean, look around. There's no like large trees here. It's just incredible. So this would have been monumental setting this thing off. It would have been very, very impressive to see with this backdrop. Man, oh, incredible. This is one of the best pits I've seen yet. It's just fantastic. All right, well, there's one more pit down the drainage. I don't know if it's this size, but it's interesting because I'm wondering in the order of these pits if they were built further down and then they continued to move up as material got scarce, or did they start up and go down? Who knows, you know? But this is just absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I need to move on. The day is waning, so we've got to continue moving through the country here, and then we got to cut back west to get back to the truck. So this is going to be it's actually going to be a pretty good day of walking. I did briefly search around the pit, and I did not see any lithic material. And I've just really been scouring this hillside here and looking in, and I'm not seeing any agave in the vicinity. So they must have cleaned this place out. Given the size of that pit, I mean, that was a trip. All right, I think the pit somewhere in this area. I don't have an exact pinpoint when I was matching my mats. Well, maybe that's it right over there at my finger's pointing at the base of this ledge here. Just walk the ledge. I can get down the ledge, I should say. So we can walk it and still keep an eye out looking down. See if we spot a circle. Oh yeah, that's a pit all right. There might be a couple of them down there. Nothing compared to that huge one, but it's definitely a pit. Oh yeah, man. This is a sweet one. Look at this. Whoa. Oh yeah. So this one's pretty big as well. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, there's two side by side. Multiple pits. Look at that. And one right here. Oh man, we got some overhangs that definitely look like they have they've got fire residue in them on the ceilings. This might be more than just an agave roasting pit here. This might have been someone's casa. This might be blackened from fires. I feel it may. Oh yeah. All right, people were definitely hanging out in here. Oh yeah, look at that. You get the remnants of stacked rocks here. This might have been one sweet shelter. There's a little bit of wall left. I mean, very little, of course. Oh, that's a big one right there. Yeah, we got some nice shelters in here. Once again, look at the ceiling there. It's black from fires. Yeah. Well, got a couple shelters in the side of this small cliff here. Then, looking outside of it, you got two big roasting pits. Yeah, that's awesome. This has been a fantastic day of discovery. Well, it's without a doubt. People are hanging out in these really shallow caves. And these pits are pretty impressive. There's two pits. This one's pretty big. Man. Very, very interesting. Yeah, fantastic day of discovery. We found everything we were looking for. So, and this is just scratching the surface out here. I just can't believe, for example, this pit, the amount of material, and the pit I just came from, the really big one, it just, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of calories expended in a pretty tough environment to get calories. So I'm under the impression these roasts were probably very important. Obviously, you know, from the size of the pits and everything else. So yeah, really interesting, very interesting. So there you have it. Another day exploring in the low desert, just incredible. I didn't come across any artifacts. I haven't really taken the time to really search the ground and around the area just because I've been on the move so much. We've got a few miles heading back to the west there, but yeah, just fantastic day. So there you have it, folks. As always, thank you very much for watching. I have lots more content on the way. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's free. It helps the channel tremendously. We will see you next time. D-Rock out. Adios.